What is up guys, Andy Forest Team Runner here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my first impressions of the Brooks Hyperion Tempo. 12.5 miles done and dusted in the Brooks Hyperion Tempo, adding a second speedier shoe to the rotation during this summer period. And let me tell you something, this is an absolute gem. Today we're going to be covering the technical overview of the shoe, and then of course my first impressions, how I found it on the run today, and how we're going to be testing it moving forward. If you're new to the channel, make sure you stick around and hit that subscribe button, because of course not only do we do first impressions, but we do speed tests, long run tests, and then I'll give you guys an update after 100 miles and let you know how the shoe is doing, and if this shoe is lucky, maybe a future update beyond there. So if you're excited for today's video guys, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, as I said, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and we'll start with the technical. So just some quick basics first before we dive into the structure of the shoe. I went true to size, which for me is a UK size 13. I'd seen some reviews online where they said they maybe had to half size up, so I was a little bit concerned that I would have to do the same, but actually, to be perfectly honest with you, true to size was perfect for me. It's an 8mm heel to toe drop. Sadly, I couldn't find the exact stack height anywhere on the Brooks website or on the internet, so all I know is it's 8mm, and in my UK size 13 it is only 279 grams or 9.8 ounces, which is the same weight as my Carbon X. Let me tell you something, it's a little bit of a treat to have a shoe that comes in under 10 ounces or under 280 grams in my UK size 13s. It's like running on air. It's absolutely brilliant. So when I chucked it on the scales and found that out, I was over the moon. Let's start around the heel counter area, work our way down the tongue, the lacing, to the upper, to the midsole, and we'll finish with the outsole. So we'll start around here. We have this little heel flare. It's very small, it's subtle, it's not as big as what you might see in the New Balance shoes, but it's enough to help your feet get in and out quite easily, but still enough depth here to keep your ankle nice and secure. We have what I would class as a medium plush heel counter area, and the collar around here. It's nice and thick at the top, thin at the bottom to save weight. So nice, what I would call bumper cushioning around the top here. Not too thick, not too thin. Absolutely perfect. On the surface, what looks like a very, very paper thin tongue here, but actually when you dig deeper, and you probably won't be able to see it on the camera, the best way for me to show you is going to be to try and do it this way. You'll see about 1 centimetre here is very, very thin paper sort of material of the tongue, but then we get down to here and we have some cushioning running down the middle of the tongue, which is nice because when the laces cinch over the top of the foot, it just provides that extra bit of comfort, which can sometimes be lacking when you have those paper thin tongues. So good way to save weight, but they've added enough cushioning in there to not cause any issues. Very basic eyelet chain, no extra materials used to hold the lacing in, just literally holes cut in to this woven upper, and then a very, very, very slight translucent material that runs all the way around here just for reinforcements, I'm guessing, to make sure those eyelet chains don't rip. And you'll be pleased to know, for those of you that like doing the runner's knot, we have an extra loop there for the runner's knot. Again, laces were absolutely perfect, no issue with that whatsoever. Moving on to the upper, it's a one-piece upper by the look of it. Just the only overlay we have is the Brooks logo here. It is a woven upper. It is quite stretchy. I did find it quite stretchy. If you guys have run in the New Balance 1080 version 10, you'll draw similarities from that. I wouldn't say it's quite as stretchy, but it certainly was more, it wasn't as rigid as some materials that I've run in. And we've got some nice holes, ventilation holes in the top here. Again, weight saving, but also great to keep your feet cool. especially in these summer months. Moving on to the midsole, we have their DNA Flash midsole, which I think is nitrogen infused or something like that. I don't know too much about this midsole technology. This is the first time I've ever run in Brooks shoes, so you'll have to excuse me for my lack of knowledge on that. But I've got to say, it's a good midsole. It's almost that perfect balance between soft cush and firm responsiveness. It's just something about it. I draw comparisons to the Rincon with this shoe. Lightweight, poppy, wants you to move. Really, really, really nice midsole. Rate it very highly. And then we've just got a dash of covering of outsole rubber, which we're seeing quite a lot of. We're leaving patches in the midsole area, again, to save weight, and manufacturers are just putting outsole rubber in areas that are high wearing. So we've got some on the forefoot to the midfoot. We have a gap here where the arch is, and then we have some on the base here. And that, guys, is pretty much it for the technical. So on to performance. How did I find this thing in its first impressions run? The first run that we did in the shoe, 12.5 miles, that's a pretty decent run to be fair. You wait till we do a long run test in this thing though, it's gonna be good I think. There's a couple of caveats that I want to throw in for this shoe, but overall it was really, really positive. So I start off with all my runs in brand new shoes. I tend to shoot B-roll in the first couple of miles. So those mile splits, I don't stop, I'm not one of those people that stops the watch. So those mile splits are normally quite a bit slower. From there I kicked on and just held it easy all the way down to Mallard's Pike Lake, a local lake 3 miles from me, ran around the lake, and it's a gradual incline on the way back up. I kind of naturally kicked into a steady gear, running late 6-minute mile pace, early 7-minute mile pace, feeling really good. The shoe obliged, it was light, it was poppy, it felt exactly what I wanted from a speedier shoe. Got back up to where I started and I felt so good that I just kicked on into steady pace, got down into the 640s, 630s, 620s in this shoe. We ended up running 12.5 miles. I did not want to stop this morning. And that's partly down to the fact that we had a taper last week for the 10K time trial. But ultimately, this shoe was so lightweight on my feet, I can assure you, if I had the milers on, I would not feel like that at all. And overall, it was just brilliant. As I said with the midsole, it's that perfect combination between poppy, soft, firm. It just sits in the middle exactly where I want it to. And as I said, I draw comparisons with the Rincon with this shoe. A couple of major differences between those two shoes are the fact that the Hoka has such a wider base, so I do feel a little bit more stable in that shoe. Not saying I don't feel stable in this, because I do. It was a very, very good shoe. It's obviously not a stability shoe, but you know what I mean. Some of you that run in the Nova Blast with the softer foam, you tend to maybe feel like your ankle rocks a little bit. I get that, I understand. I don't personally suffer with that, but this thing, I just didn't feel it. It was just solid all the way through. A couple of caveats that I found with the shoe on the run. I did not get a good lockdown fit. The padding on the tongue, despite it being good in the areas so that I could cinch the laces down, it was this airy foam. And so when I cinched the laces, the tongue just kind of puffed back up and pushed the laces away. And so it was quite loose on my right foot for most of the run. So I need to work on the lockdown. And I thought this was going to be a narrow shoe. I took a photo for Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, FOD Runner over on Instagram, make sure you head over there and give me a follow. I dropped a photo comparing the Pegasus 37 next to the Brooks HYPERION Tempo. We've got the Peg 37 in for testing later this week, so stay tuned for that. And the 37 looks so much wider, so I assumed this was going to be quite a narrow shoe, and my feet being wide, I might struggle to get in them. But to be fair, my feet were swimming around in this shoe. They really, really were swimming. And I found that on the, I don't know what you call it, the insole, sorry. I do know what you call it. On the insole, my feet were sliding just a little bit. There was a little bit of friction coming on the bottom of my feet. No blisters, but I think that's down to the fact that I didn't get a good lockdown. But I did find that in both of my feet. And this upper material, with it being stretchy, it wasn't stretchy, clinging to my foot like the 1080 version 10. It was stretchy, but it gave me a lot of room. So it did feel very spacious up here in the toe box. I'd love to know what you guys find with this shoe, but for me, that was the only thing that I noticed straight off the bat. Other than that, lightweight, poppy, nice and breathable, exactly what I want in a speedy shoe. So this week, of course, is going to be dedicated testing to this thing, and we're going to be doing the speed test and the long run test. I haven't decided what speed workout I want to do in it, but I'm probably either going to be doing 3 minutes on, 2 minutes off to kickstart my half marathon training, and that might be on dry dirt trails, or we're going to be doing mile repeats on the industrial estate. I haven't decided yet. I'm just going to see how I feel and what time I have when I wake up. And then, of course, the long run test this weekend. This thing is going to be put through its paces, hopefully a good 18 plus miler. Again, we'll see how we get on, see how fitness is. Again, this week is all about building back up to that half marathon training block, with a half marathon time trial coming in 6 to 8 weeks' time. So this thing is going to get a lot of testing time this week. It's going to get a lot of miles into it. I think we might be fairly close to 40-50 miles by the end of the week already. And then, of course, I'll give you an update after 100 miles. So that's the proposed testing for this shoe this week. I'll get my Peg 37s out for their first impressions at the end of this week. And then next week we'll dedicate that week to the testing of that shoe. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed my first impressions of the Brooks HYPERION Tempo. A super exciting shoe for me, something that's going to need a little bit of refinement in terms of the lockdown, but other than that, this I feel is going to last a duration, and me personally, I think I'm going to be taking this thing over 100 miles. I'm going to be honest with you, I can tell you now, I already prefer this to the New Balance Fresh Foam Tempo. This is going to be my speediest shoe of choice. So that's it for today. Let me know if you've run in this shoe. Let me know in the comments below how you find it. I know I'm quite late to the party of this shoe. I know quite a few of you have got it already. Let me know what you use it for, what your perfect distance, pace, speed is for this shoe, and let's get chatting down in the comments. So that's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and as always, I will see you on the next one. Until then.